Welcome class, Ziad Yusuf here. Me, Yusuf Arafa, Mustafa Muhammad, Mahmoud Samih are going to describe and discuss our 3000 word rhetorical essay. So we're going to start with our introductions, then go through the body paragraph and the end discuss our conclusion. Let's start with our introduction, which shows the 4-sentence introduction format. First sentence, journalist Henry David Thoreau in his narration, Walden describes interesting transition into spring season at Walden Woods. What can we get from here? We showed the author credentials, which is journalist. We mentioned the author first and last name because it's the first time in our essay we mention him. We also showed what type of text we're dealing with, so the one reading our essay knows what are we actually analyzing, which is in this case a narration. And also we showed the speaker, subject and occasion, which is transition into spring season. Now for the second, as I said, for the first sentence, for the second sentence now, Thoreau's purpose is to recount the beautiful and unforgettable spring years near Walden Pond. Now, what can we get from this sentence? The only one thing we get from this sentence is the purpose. Thoreau's purpose is to recount the beautiful and unforgettable, blah blah blah. Now, for the third sentence, he adopts a colorful tone in order to establish the beauty of the forest in the mind of his nature lover audience. So, what do we get from this sentence? We get the author's audience only, who are the nature lovers audience. We also describe the author tone, which in this case is a colorful tone. And for the last sentence and the fourth sentence, Thoreau uses physical appeal, long specific sentence, personification, and imagery creates an effective and poignant narration. And as you probably see, this is the same format of the thesis statement. We use first the subject, who is Thoreau in this case, then use of and discussing some rhetorical strategies, and at the end we write our opinion, which is creates an effective and poignant narration. Says Farosh, and I will let you for Yusuf discuss the body paragraph.
Hello, I'm Yusuf Arafa from the Red Group, and I wrote section 1, which discusses the tools and rhetorical strategies used in this chapter called Spring, from page 1 to page 3. First, I'd like to talk about how the author Henry David Thoreau relies on his credibility, the credibility that he built throughout the whole entire book. He uses it by describing things about Walden, such as, Walden on the 6th of March, 1847 stood at 32 degrees. He describes these things and states these details because he wants us to create an image of Walden in our minds. He then goes on to tell us the meanings of some words, while still relying on his credibility, because he doesn't give us dictionary definitions, but rather explains or describes the meaning of the word. He does this with the word honeycomb. After he does this, he goes on to appeal to the reader's logic by saying that the day is the epitome of the year. After he appeals to the reader's logic, he starts to use language that appeals to the reader's emotional side. He uses all these strategies to help the reader create an image of Walden in his mind, while also, to an extent, emotionally attaching the reader to Walden. Thank you, and now Ziad Yusuf will be presenting his part in our essay, which is section 2.
Hey, welcome, Ziad Yusuf from the Red Group here. So I'm going to discuss my part from our rhetorical strategy essay. So as you know, the function of rhetorical essay is to analyze the author's use of rhetorical strategy to achieve his main purpose. So it's done in 3 steps. First, analyze the rhetorical strategy, then explain how it relates to the audience, and finally related to the author's main purpose. So let's start with reading of first sentence. Moreover, Thoreau continues in his journal by recounting about the newly brought to light and the beautiful spring day. So what can we notice from this sentence? We clearly discussed and showed what type of text we are dealing with. An essay or informative text or a journal in this case. And we also showed the author's main point, so the one reading our essay knows what's going on. In this case, our point is spring day. And now for the second sentence. He started to appeal to the reader by processing through the veins in springtime, as he emphasized that the between quotes freshly exposed veins of the right material have must have been greatly multiplied. End of quotes. Walden chapter Spring paragraph 4. So what did we understand from this sentence? Exactly. We analyzed one rhetorical strategy. That's the second step of writing essay. We try to use as much stronger verbs as possible, and as you can see, we did a very proper in-text citation. So the one reading our essay knows from where did we get this example. Did we get from a cooking book, from our dreams while we playing, or from Walden's chapter Spring paragraph 4? See how we put quotation between in our text. The way as the process of putting quotes formally is called the quote integration. It has a lot of rules which I can't go through them right now, like quote blending, quote introduction, destination, many other. So for the right, let's move on. The third sentence. Let's read it. In other words, he describes man's spring using colorful moving words in order to drag the audience to appreciate the spring. Now, what can we get from this? We said what we said in sentence 2 again, but in a clearer way to show how what we to show with how the rhetorical strategy we analyze in sentence 2 relates to the audience. And that's step 2 of writing body paragraphs. Now for the last step of writing body paragraph. Now for the coming sentences. His emotions to appeal to emphasize the reader beautiful springs in nature and the blah 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 of other words. We can clearly see that sentence 2 and 3 format are repeating off and off again. That's to show the one reading of essays that we have more than one example to prove that this is truly the author's style, and we didn't get just one or two examples randomly or found them luckily. This truly is the author's style. Now for the conclusion sentence. Overall, the skillful use of pleasant meaning words and the symbols conveys a colorful tones that drags the audience singing to beauty of charming spring days. For sure, starting with a strong transition verb for the conclusion. What we did here, that's the last step of writing essay, rhetorical essay body paragraph. We related what we analyzed and explained in sense 2 and 3, relating them to the author's main purpose. And that's the last step in writing essay. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you learned something useful. Thanks for watching.
Now I'm going to be breaking down the conclusion. So we started by restating the author's goal. Then we went on to emphasize and summarize the author's style and way of writing. And finally, we stated the result or the effect that the author's style or way of writing had on the reader. This was the Red Group's rhetorical analysis essay on the chapter Spring from the book Walden. Thank you.